Hello. For the spooky season, I'm going to do a little something different than everyone else. I'm going to tell you my favorite horror movies on different apps. And the first one is going to be AMC Plus. Don't worry, it's not going to be all movies from paid subscription. Let's talk about the first one on AMC Plus. 1408. This is a movie with Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack. And it is based on a Stephen King novel. John Cusack lost his daughter, and ever since he did, his character did, he's been going to these haunted places to prove that they're not really haunted. And he gets a invitation to, he gets a letter saying you should go to this hotel, and the room number is 1408. And they try to keep him from going to it, but he is insisting on it, and he finally gets in there, and a lot of weird stuff happens. The next one, I'm going to leave out any movies that are like stories that's about holidays that are like Christmas. So if you know the app and everything, and you think I'm not talking about some, there's a reason for it. I just told you. The next one is Creepshow, the animated special. And they did a TV show called Creepshow, and it's this is a special that comes from that TV show, and they separated it and made it into a movie, and it's a cartoon similar to the third Creepshow movie. The next one I'm going to talk about is All Hallows Eve, and it's an anthology, and it has different little skits to it, and one of them is Art the Clown. And they're all told through the lens of a girl babysitting these kids, and the one of them, it's a boy, he has a video, VHS, and he wants to watch it with the babysitter, and it shows different skits from it. The second one is All Hallows Eve 2, and it's similar to the first movie, and the way that it comes through in a babysitter and kids getting a videotape. And the next one, most people in the horror community know this movie, but I'm still going to talk about it and everything, and that is An American Werewolf in London. two boys are Americans, and they go to this town in Dublin, and it's raining, and they go to a pub, and they're making jokes and everything, and then the people in the pub don't like what they say, and so they get kicked out, and then they end up getting attacked, and one of the boys dies, and the other one is in the hospital, and the friend comes back as a ghost and tells them, "You're going to be a werewolf." There's another movie that I'm not going to talk about that I like on here, just because it's hard to explain without going and telling you too much of the history of it. So I'm going to skip that one. The next one is Antrim. And it's one of the few found footage movies that I like. It's about these people that they find out stuff, and they're supposed to be investigators, and they're on the hunt for this monster that ends up being Goat Man plus the devil. And it kind of leaves interpretation of, did they really see this or is it not? And that's the whole premise of the whole story, because people go missing and everything, and they want to prove if it's really accurate or not. Next one is At the Devil's Door. It's a story about this girl that gets befriended by somebody, and they start acting out and everything, and well, they call them best friends, but come to find out halfway through they're actually sisters. And one of them is evil and the other one's not, but you gotta figure out which one is. And next one is Basket Case, and it is about a brother that has a conjoined twin, and they don't like the other one, so they cut him off, and they're gonna terminate, but the brother doesn't want him terminated, and he puts them in a basket, and sometimes the Belial goes out and hurts people. The next one is Beneath, and there's a couple that goes out on the lake, and it doesn't tell why or anything. It starts out on the lake, and the female is pregnant, and beneath them is a monster, and it attacks them. But the girl gets away and goes a little crazy. The next one is Blood and Black Lights, and it's about this crazy killer that goes after people that aren't modest and tries to attack them. And the more you watch it, the more you understand where this person's coming from and when they're doing it. The next one is Blood of the Vampire, and this movie is about a guy that is on the road, and this woman and her husband pick him up and kind of find out he's a vampire and he's creepy and everything, and he takes a fancy to the girl. The next one is Body Bags, and it's an anthology, and there's a guy in the morgue, and he's talking about different stories, talking about how the people die, and that's how you get introduced to the whole anthology. The next one is Candyman, and it's about a urban legend that these two people that are college, well, there's a professor, and he's got a wife, and she's got an assistant, and she's doing research, finding out about urban legends, and she finds out about Candyman. And Candyman is, he was a black man that, back in the, back when it was slave times, I can't remember what year it was, but, he got all the best treatments. His dad was a slave, but he earned some money, and he sent his son to college, and he became a painter, and this wealthy landowner wanted Rubachoff, Daniel Rubachoff is his name, Candyman's. He wants him to do a portrait of his daughter, and Daniel Rubachoff fell in love with the girl, and they have sex, and they get caught, and they torture him, and then they kill him. But before they do, they smear honey all over him, and a swarm of bees come after him. But this is in the modern day, and if you look in the mirror and say Candyman's name 5 times, you summon him. And that's the premise for it. And the next movie is Cannibal Holocaust, and this is kind of a found footage. This is, as far as I know, the first one that was ever made that's a found footage, and it's about these college students to go to the jungles to film someone that's the natives, and it's basically showing who's the monster here, the natives or these kids that come in here with camera crews, and they do rituals, they kill animals, they do different things, but the next one is 1976's not the Carrie, and Carrie is first shown in the locker rooms, and she starts getting her period while she's washing up, and she's freaking out, and everybody starts throwing tampons at her and pads, saying, block it up, block it up. And she freaks out, and she's sent to the principal's office with the gym teacher and sent home. And she's telekinesis, and it comes through when she starts having her period. And she's kind of misunderstood girl, and she's got a religious mother that is overbearing. Okay, let's start. I'm going to have to go through a little changeroo, because these are movies that are in the set. First one is Children of the Corn. This is the 2023 movie. Well, it actually was released in 2020, but they did some updates to it, and they re-released it and added more to it. And it tells you the backstory of why the kids are so upset with the family, and the parents are pretty bad. They are using pesticides to destroy the land, and then they want to sell out to a bigger corporation and make the whole town pavement and get rid of all the corn. And the kids, not even the 18-year-olds, can get to vote on it. All the adults are the ones that do, and so they have an up. And the one that's the leader, she's a girl. She fancies herself as the Red Queen, and she goes after everyone. The next one is Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. And the first movie is about all the kids, and in the second one, it's about how they take the kids that are not, that are from Gatlin, and take them to a small town in Nebraska. In buses, two of them, and they try to set them up in new homes, and the whole thing starts up again, and it shows where this guy comes to town with his son. He is a reporter, and the son is upset and don't really want to be there, but his mother's supposed to be getting married, and she don't want him at the wedding, so they do that. And the reporter goes on a quest to find out what really happened, and he befriends an Indian man, and there's a lot of corruption, and that's how they proceed, and why the kids are acting crazy. The third one is Children of Corn 3, Urban Harvest, and in my opinion, it's the best movie in them. And the evil kid in this movie is played by the same kid that is in the movie Demonic Toys. That's the evil kid in that movie. There is a man that lives in a trailer, and he does experiments with corn, and he has a son, and he adopts another one. The kid I'm talking about, the evil one, is the adopted son. But the dad is a drunk, and he's in a Gatlin, Nebraska, when he's doing all this. But the point is, he's doing his business. He's a drunk. He likes to abuse his son and hit him around. And the evil kid's name's Eli. He tells John that he'll protect them, that they'll always be together and everything. And Eli turns his stepfather into a scarecrow, and he steals his stepfather's invention, the corn and everything. So, and then they end up being on the adopted, but they go to Chicago and are adopted by these people that send them to a private school that's a Catholic school. And Eli converts everybody except for the two neighbors that live right next door to him and Jonathan. And they Jonathan seems to figure out how bad his stepbrother really is. Him and the preacher and the next door neighbor that's the friend that's the boy. There's a girl and a boy. Okay. The next one is Children of the Corn 4, The Gathering. And he's kind of like a ghost. He was the unwanted child, and he and some of the other kids that are from his time inhabit the kids of nowadays. And when they all take over the bodies of the other kids, but there's one that's unwanted that's been lied to, and it's a girl, and he takes over her body. Well, it's the struggle for that. But see, all her life she's been told that her mother is her sister, and her grandmother is her mom, and that's where the lie comes in, and she finally admits to it and everything. It starts out with there was this kid, and he was the first to be taken down, and he and his mom and dad are moving out of town into a bigger state. He's watching television and nothing's on, but he's hearing things and everything being told to him, and that's how he gets took over. And everyone starts to have fevers and their teeth start falling out. And the next one is Children of the Corn 5, Fields of Terror. There's this guy that is there's this guy that dies, and a group of friends and his girlfriend all go, and the first one is a guy and a girl, and they are they see corn, and the girl wants to go get some, and not to mention the fact that the guy is taping sex dolls to different places so that they know where to go. And there's 2 girls and 2 guys. One of the girls is the girlfriend of the dead deceased one. But anyway, and then there's these kids that periodically they go back and forth. There's these kids that are want this land of this guy that's in a house, and they keep trying to scare them off. And finally, the kids kill him and his wife, and they're the children of the corn, and the kids also kill the two that are leaving the postmark and everything, and then the other ones have to. One of the girls, she's freaked out about children in the corn because some of the locals start talking about it and everything, and come to find out her brother is a part of that with them. It's a race to see who gets out and who survives and what they do. Next one is Children of the Corn 666, Isaac Returns. The first movie, if you haven't seen it, Isaac is the leader. He's the one that's the preacher and tells all the kids to do everything. He returns in the sixth one, and in his book, it's not known in the first one, but in the sixth one, it talks more about it. In his book that he wrote, that was supposed to be the Bible for He Who Walks Behind the Rose, one of the things that he predicted is that the next generation, this generation for this movie, would the firstborn would be he who walks behind the rose come to flesh, and he's supposed to sire the next generation with the first female from the group, and she was supposed to be swapped off into a different state and everything, but she wants to come back and everything, and that's what sets all this stuff in motion, because she comes back and everything, and she figures out that her mother was from there, and she tries to find out who her mother is, but everybody is jerking her around. And the last one from this list is the seventh Children of the Corn movie, and it is called Children of the Corn Revelation. It starts out with this old woman, and she's having terrible nightmares, and then she just disappears, and her granddaughter comes to see her because she hasn't been answering the phone calls or anything, and she finds out that the apartment building she's living in is being condemned and gonna be torn down, and she can't find her grandmother, and she goes into looking around and finds out that there was a cult of Children of the Corn that were not in Nebraska, in Gatlin, Nebraska, but it was in another town. And when all the stuff happened with the ones from Gatlin, all the kids in this little group decide that they want to do mass suicide, but she runs, and the evil little one that was the preacher thinks that he's owed a debt and wants to collect on all the family because she should have never had children and never should have had a granddaughter. All of the family is dead except for the granddaughter, and the grandma raised her. And you get to see what happens, and then these kids start showing up, and they're dressed like they are from the 50s or 60s, and or Amish children, and they're very creepy. And there's another character. He is a cop, and she befriends some of the people in the apartment buildings and everything, and talks to them. But they all die. But the cop is really the one that keeps saving the granddaughter. The next one is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, and this is a zombie movie, and it's about these kids that go to a graveyard and they dig up a dead body, and while they're partying, they have him in the corner, and dead bodies start to come alive, and you have to pay attention to when he comes to life. But it's a bad movie, but fun. The next one is Christine, and it's about about an evil killer car, and it's another movie that's based on a Stephen King novel. Oh, The Children of the Corn, it is based on a short story called Children of the Corn, and it's a book that's by Stephen King too. Forgot to say that. There's two friends, and they live next door to each other, and one of them drives and the other one doesn't, Richie, and he so desperately wants a car, but he's never bought one, and while they were going to school, he sees this car, and it's Christine. Names are Christine. And the car is pretty damaged, but he convinces this guy to let him work on the car in his garage and everything, and he lovingly takes care of it, talking to it, and some people get jealous or don't like how much time he's spending with them, so they try to destroy the car, and it kills them. The next one I'm going to talk about is Day of the Dead, 1985. And this is the third George A. Romero zombie movie in that series, and it is, they're all underground, but they go out in helicopters looking for survivors and broadcasting, but they're doing experiments on the zombies to see if they can reform them and use them. And the scientist thinks that they're on a breakthrough, but the soldiers are fed up with the scientists and want to get rid of them. And the next one is Dead Snow. This is a foreign film, and it's about zombies that are Russian guards like Hitler and all them. And it's set in that time frame. And these zombies are very hard to kill. To say the very least. They cut off their things, they hit them in the head, they do all sorts of things, and it takes them a long time to figure out how to kill them. I'll just say that. Next one is Demons. This movie is about people going to a art museum and unleashing zombies by breaking something that has the essence of them, and the people start turning into zombies. Next one is Zombies 2, and I mean Demons 2, and it's a little different. They infect them by music through a movie they're watching. I'm not going to talk about this one because I can't figure out what to call it. The next one is Frankenhooker. There's this guy that's in love with his girlfriend, and he wants to get with her and marry her, and she doesn't know what to do, and she goes walking and everything, and trying to figure out, but she gets killed, and so pretty much her whole body is destroyed, but her head's still intact, so he kind of does a little Frankenstein thing and to make his girlfriend again, and he's going out here and killing women to make the body parts. The next movie is Friday the 13th. There's this guy that I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Christie. He wants to open up a summer camp, and a lot of bad things happen at this summer camp, and he can't get anybody from the local town to do it, but he goes to the city and talk about it, and has all them people to come and do it, and one by one people get killed. The next one, because there's a lot of these movies from that, is part 2. And the same thing happens. A guy comes. Now, the Christie guy goes and he gets killed in the first one, but someone buys the camp, and it isn't the same camp, but it's right on the same lake and everything. And he talks about at the beginning about what happens to the other camper, the people that were going to do it. And I ain't gonna go through all these. It's Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th part 2, Friday the 13th part 3. Friday the 13th part 4, A New Beginning. Friday the 13th. Part Friday the 13th part 5, Friday the 13th part 6, Friday the 13th. Well, it doesn't say part 4, it's just the final chapter, and then 5, then 6, then 7, and then 8. The next one is Fright Night from 1985. There is a teenage guy that lives at a house, and then he's fooling around with his girlfriend, and he sees these people moving in, and he's convinced that the neighbor is a vampire, and he goes asking this guy that does Fright Night TV show and to help him, because he's supposed to be expert on it. And that's Vincent Price and Victor Price. The next one is Ginger Snaps, and it's about 2 macabre sisters, and they're out at night, and one of them gets attacked by a werewolf because she's just started her period, and he can smell the blood, and she starts changing into a werewolf. And the sister does everything she can possibly do to get to help her, and there's this drug dealer, and he tries to help her and find a cure. The next one is Stephen King's Graveyard Shift, and there's this place that it's a factory, and this person is working and gets attacked by these rats, and they offer this new guy that comes into town to work there, and instead of fumigating the place, the person over it offers some people over the Labor Day weekend money to do it for him, and they find out how bad it is, and The next one is series of Halloween movies. It is the first one, the second one. Now I'm going to talk about all these with Michael Myers first. The first one from 1978, Halloween 2 from 1981, Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. Fourth one brings back Michael, and the first one is about a killer that goes around. He kills a sister. He's a kid. He gets put in a sanitarium at Smith Grove, and when he becomes 21, he escapes and goes after. The second one reveals that Michael is that one of the girls that survived, Laurie Strode's brother. And then the fourth one, there's a girl named Jamie Lloyd, and she is Laurie Strode's daughter. And her mom and dad die, and Michael comes after her. She's a kid. And then the fifth one is ongoing, where he's still trying to kill her, and it's supposed to be the same night. No, it's a year later. They also have Halloween 3, Susan the Witch, and this is a little story about a warlock that takes over a town and is out for vengeance and wants to kill everyone by making these masks in a factory. And when you put them on and you watch the video for the shamrocks, and there's this guy and this girl. The girl, his dad's convinced that the guy's up to no good, and she wants to go and they also have Halloween from 2007 on here too, and this is Rob Zombie's movie, and it goes more into details about Michael Myers when he's younger and everything, and he actually knows that his sister is Laurie Strode, and yeah. Next one is Haunted, and it is 2019, and it's about 6 friends that go into a carnival, and the terrifying one in it is a clown, and they go through their worst nightmares in this carnival. The next one is House on Eden, and this is a found footage movie about these people that there's 3 of them. They're actually YouTubers, and they use their real names in it, and they find one of them, her name is Chris, well, Christina, but they call her Chris. She calls herself Chris, and she wants to go to this house on Eden Street, and they wanted to go to a cemetery, and a lot of weird stuff starts happening, and she's pregnant, and It's a really good movie. It's not been released all that long. It was released at the end of September. The next one is House on Haunted Hill from 1969, and it's a house that everybody lives in, and it's a Vincent Price movie, and it's a summer cottage that Vincent Price and his wife owns, and things start happening, and what one of the guests there is a doctor, and he is having an affair with Vincent Price's wife. And Vincent Price knows full well, and that was the whole reason he invited him there, to punish them for it. The next one is called Irreversible, and it is a kind of a found footage film. It goes in reverse, hence the name Irreversible. And it follows this guy that is out for revenge and everything because his wife is attacked and murdered, and it is a movie that is very eerie and very disturbing, especially since it's done reversibly, and it's not a movie that you want to watch if you don't like revenge movies. Like I Spit on Your Grave, or Last House on the Left. It's that kind of movie, or Hannibal Holocaust, stuff like that. The next one is Jeepers Creepers. There's this brother and sister that are driving home from college, and they encounter this car on the road, truck, and they see something suspicious, and they go and they turn around, and this is Jason Long's feature film debut. And they a lot of stuff happened in between, and the creeper, he goes around every 7 years. He can he's not human, but he takes things from humans to make himself look human and everything, and he decides which one he wants and everything. The next one is Jeepers Creepers 2, and it's kind of similar, except for the creeper is targeting the school bus. The next one is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There is a small town, and people are everyday normal, and these aliens that look like clowns come down and put up a tent, and people start going around, and they start killing people and turning them into cotton candy. The next one is King on the screen. Now, this is a movie that I don't really recommend unless you like documentaries, because this is talking about all the movies and books that Stephen King has done, and that have been turned into movies. The next one I want to talk about is Late Night with the Devil. And this is filmed like it's a TV show where a guy is a talk show host, like Jay Leno or Letterman, but instead of done like that, he's got actual people on that are guests and stuff. He don't have actual like celebrities. It's more like I can't think of his name. Johnny Carson, that's it. I will mention some movies that I'm not going to talk about, but they're on here too. All the Leprechaun movies are on here. But like I said, no movies about holidays, unless it's Halloween. And there's some movies on here that I've seen, but I don't remember them, so I'm going to talk about them either. Next one I'm going to talk about is Night of the Demons from 1988. This is filmed on Halloween, and it's a Halloween party, and they go to this abandoned place, and it was a famous asylum, but and they're partying, and the party goers, starting with this one girl, get infected and become demon possessed and start attacking the ones that aren't. The next one is Pet Sematary from 1989. It's about a family that moves into a house that there's a lot of traffic on the road, and people are always getting killed and everything. And the husband is a doctor, and he's got a neighbor that shows him the pet cemetery, which is a pet cemetery, where people lay to rest. But up further along is another cemetery, and if you bury anything in it, they will come back. And it's in a Stephen King story. Next one is Pet Sematary 2, and it follows a son and his best friend. And the son's mother is an actress, and she has a book that looks like the Necronomicon, and the son reads from it, and wonky things start happening, and his dog dies, and he goes and tries to bring it back from the dead, and then his mother. The next one is Possession from 1983. This movie follows two people that are married, and the wife is tired of the relationship she's having with her husband, and things start to happen, and she gets possessed, and gets pregnant, and it implicates that it could be the devil or it could be the husband, and she goes nuts. The next one is Prince of Darkness, and this movie is a John Carpenter film. So was Christine. Anyway, I forgot. You would think that Prince of Darkness is about a vampire, but it's not. It's about the end of the world and about the devil coming back, and the priest is trying to keep it from happening, and there's one person that's good and everything, and they have to go into this through this door that's to another world, and do tests to keep stuff from happening, and the priest tells the person to do it. The next one is Prom Night from 1980. These kids were playing, and there was two twins, a boy and a girl, and their older sister calls them. They were playing with their friends and everything, and the one didn't want to leave, and they wanted her to, and she didn't, and so they kill her. And so it's teenage years, and they're celebrating the prom, and there's a killer out, so it's in the notes, I know what you did, and scaring all of them, and he starts stalking them on prom night. Next one is Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou. There's a girl that dies, and it was her prom, and she was supposed to be prom queen and everything. All the things went on, and she inhabits the body of this one person and takes over and wants revenge for what happens to her. The next one is Psycho from 1960. This is an Alfred Hitchcock film, and it's about a guy that lives in a house on top of a hill, and he has motels at the bottom, and this woman comes in, her name's Marion Crane, to his hotel, and he says you can have any pick a room, but he decides he's going to give her the first room, and his name's Norman Bates, and he offers her food and everything, and she accepts it, and his mother is trying to plot she comes in and kills her with a butcher knife when she's taking a shower. Next one is Pumpkinhead, the Demon of Revenge. There's these kids that are driving around on four-wheelers in this person's store and everything, and he's telling his son to stay inside, but his son doesn't want to, and they kill him, and the father is grief-stricken, and so he goes to this local witch to get revenge, and she sends out the pumpkin eater to go after them. Oh, side note, I've never seen these movies, but if anyone's interested in getting AMC Plus, they have all 4 wreck movies. And if you get it, you get a month free. Next movie I'm going to talk about is Return of the Living Dead, and this movie is about 2 people that are in a warehouse, and they store they store dead remains, and there's these liquid vases in crates that are supposed to be the dead, and they have this chemical, and they decide that they're gonna open it to see what's inside, and it brings out a fume that brings the dead back to life, and it kills people that are in the vicinity of smelling it, and turns them into zombies as well. And they've got friends that are they like to party. Well, the one, he just started working there, and they want to go to his work and everything. Next one I'm going to talk about is Satan's Little Helper, and there's this boy. He's moving to town with his mom and sister, and he's talking about wanting to be Satan's little helper, and starts doing stuff to get Satan's attention, and he does. But Satan is not very impressed, and he plays a trick on the kid. Next one I'm going to talk about is Scream 4. It's the only Scream on here. Sydney has come back to Woodsboro to promote her book, because she wrote a book about how she progressed from being a victim and everything, and now she's a survivor, and she wants to talk about how you can be a survivor too. The next generation is going on with picking up where the other Ghostface left off. Next movie I want to talk about is Stephen King's Silver Bullet. This movie, the book that Stephen King wrote, is Circle of the Werewolf. There is, it follows a boy that is a paraplegic. He is in a wheelchair, and he can't walk and everything, and he's a kid, and he's got a sister. He's got a friend, and his sister is looking for him because their mother and father told her to go looking for him. And his friend gets up into the tree and scares the crap out of him and hurts up his knee and scrapes it up. And she's so mad at him and won't talk to him. And later he gives her money and everything. And then weird stuff starts happening, and the werewolf starts coming out and everything and killing people, and he goes on a rampage to find out who it is, and then he gets attacked by it, but he is out on the lake, and he shoots a firecracker into his eye. This is around the 4th of July, but the reason I put this one in here, it goes through all the holidays except for Christmas, and it ends on Halloween, so it plus the Halloween time. Next one I'm going to talk about is stigmata. The stigmata is, for reference, there's people that get the same things that happened to Jesus, the holes and everything, without actually being nailed to a cross or everything, and they have wounds where it's at, and it follows this girl that starts having things like that happen to her and everything, and it's supposed to be good people, but she's been pretty bad and everything, and she don't understand, and she goes to the church and asks why this happened to her, because she went looking for research and everything, and they told her, well, when the final battle happens, it will be a girl that isn't really like Christ-like, but still the saving grace. And it's kind of, if you've ever seen End of Days, it's kind of similar to that movie. And it also stars the same person in it that was in End of Days. I can't remember his name, but he plays the devil in End of Days. Then next one is Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Night, and it's about a battle between good and evil, and people don't know which one's bad and which one's good, and the person is trying to warn everyone, but the demon is so much more common, and he's being listened to, and there's this key that the good guy has that the bad guy wants to be destroyed, but he can't touch it and everything. But if it gets destroyed, he can unleash all his fury out on the world. The demon, it reminds me a lot of the Man in Black from Stephen King's stories. The Walking Dead, Randall Flagg, whatever you want to call it. Not really Randall Flagg from The Stand, more him from the Dark Tower series. But it's the same guy. Next one I'm going to talk about is Tales from the Crypt, Bodega of Blood. Now, this is about a vampire, a very special vampire. It's Lilith. People have tried to kill her and everything, but all they can do is contain her. And there's this one guy that has this charm that protects him from her. And finally, that charm gets took away from him, and it gets broke, and she's able to wreak havoc with everyone and rain upon them her vengeance. Lilith is the queen of the vampires. She is the creator of them in this story, by the way. Next one I'm going to talk about is Tales of the Dark Side, the movie. And this is an anthology. There's this boy that is captured by this evil woman. That's kind of the story of Hansel and Gretel, except for there's no girl. But she's cooking up a storm, and then she's gonna put him in the oven and everything, and he keeps asking her to tell him stories and everything. Just like the last movie I talked about, this is an anthology too. Tales from the Hood. There's a guy that's in a mortuary, and these three hoodlums come in, and they're trying to find loot because they heard that there's treasures below, and he's telling them stories and everything, and next one I'm going to talk about is the anthropology of Jane Doe. There is this, what seems like a dead body that gets took to the morgue, and every time these people the morticians try to examine her and take her apart, bad things start happening all around, and to them and to the building. It's an interesting take on a ghost story, and very strange, but one I absolutely adore. Next one I'm going to talk about is another Alfred Hitchcock movie, and that is The Birds. This woman, everywhere she goes, bad things happen, and she ends up going to this town because she was in this shop in another city, and she was talking to this guy, and she liked him, and he was talking about his sister celebrating her birthday, and he leaves something at the other place, and that's so she wanted to give the little girl something, and so she, his wallet and everything in it, and she brings it to him and thanks her, and birds start attacking the town. And next one I want to talk about is The Blob. Just give me a minute. From 1988. The Blob is a movie about this creature that slimes across, and every place it touches, it consumes all life form. And the military gets involved after these two teenagers see it and freak out and call them and everything. And next one I'm going to talk about is The City of the Dead, and this is a part of a series of different movies, and in this atmosphere classic, a professor sends a student to Whitewood, Massachusetts, the site of 13th century witch burnings. Once she learns the secret that lives on. There's these people that are very standoffish, and then they come together to try to attack her and everything. Next one I'm going to talk about is The Cleansing Hour. This is kind of done in the style of a found footage, and it's also a paranormal movie. It's about possession. And it's a new take on it. A guy that's a filmmaker is interviewing different people, and he comes across one that he's trying to debunk the whole myth of demonic presence, and he comes across a girl that proves him wrong. The next one I want to talk about is The Company of Werewolves, and this movie is a different take on Little Red Riding Hood. Instead of Little Red Riding Hood being afraid and running from the wolf, she kinda is intrigued by him. Next movie I want to talk about is The Craft. A new girl comes into town. Now, it doesn't start out like this, but this is how I'm going to explain it. New girl comes into town, and the night before she did, there's three girls talking about they need a fourth. They're witches, and to make a circle, they need a fourth. And they have air, water, and fire. They don't have earth. And the girl that comes into town is definitely an earth witch, and she's a natural witch. Her mother was one, and they get together and they start to. She's a little hesitant. She also likes this guy, but he's kind of a douche to her, and but she doesn't see it. Not until it's too late. We'll go into that, but yes. The next one is The Dark and the Wicked. And this guy marries a woman, and she's got a son, and he's kind of evil. No, he's not kind of. He's an antichrist. Or at least the bringer of the end days. He's something evil and everything, and everybody tells him that he better be good to the mom and the son because of who he is and all that, and warns them and stuff. But the next one I'm going to talk about is The Day of the Beast, and this is kind of a darker tale on Armageddon. The next one I'm going to talk about is The Devil's Candy. There's this girl that likes to party, and she's a teenager, and she takes this new drug, and she starts seeing demons and everything, and she gets possessed. And then it's kind of like a possession slash retelling of Rosemary's Baby kind of thing. Kind of story. Next one I'm going to talk about is The Exorcist 3. Everybody thought that the preacher that went out the window died, but he didn't. He was put in a hospital and put on life support, and someone and then he gets inhabited by the Zodiac Killer when it takes him a long time, and he's locked in a nut house, but he finally gets out and he starts trying to kill people. Next one I'm going to talk about is Gary Busey is The Ginger Dead Man. This is a full moon movie, and it is about there's a guy that is a serial killer, and his body gets put into a gingerbread man, and he goes around trying to kill people. This movie I'm going to talk about is The House of the Devil, and it is about there's this woman that goes and she accepts position of being a house sitter, well, taking care of a kid at a house, and when she gets there, it's the middle of nowhere, and she didn't even drive. She don't drive. Her friend takes her there, and going to find out it's not a child. It's the husband's mother, and she feels a little weird, but she needs the money, and they offer her more. But her friend tells her that I wouldn't do it. No money, amount of money. But she needs the money because she's going to get kicked out of her house. And then where things start happening, and seances going on upstairs, and then you find out what she's really there halfway through the movie. They are trying to mess with her because she's a good person and everything. That's the movie I'm going to talk about. There's 3 of them, but I'm not talking about the second one because I don't like it, but too weird for me. But I like the first and the third, and that is the Human Centipede. The first one's about this guy that's a doctor that he's convinced that he wants to make a human centipede out. And he finds the right candidates. It took a little while. The guy that he found wasn't good enough, so he kills them and lays them. And then after he's made them, these cops come on, ask him a bunch of questions, and he tries to drug them. And there was only 3. And by the third one, it's a whole, it's the same concept, except that these all are prisoners, except for one of them's a girl that doesn't do what the warden wants, so he puts her in the middle of all of them. And yeah. They're very strange movies, but okay. Let's talk about the next one. The Last House on the Left from 1972. There's these 2 best friends, and one of them lives at the last house on the left, and they go into town and they are trying to find someone that can get them drugs, and they do. They go to their house. Well, actually, both versions are here, and but the girls get kidnapped, and the one that's the friend gets killed by them. But the second one, they keep a little longer and everything, and they torture her for a long time. One of the people, the one that gets them to go to, one's in apartment building, and the other story is at a motel. It's the only real difference, except for the ending, and I'm not giving that away. But they both stories is about a guy that gets out of jail by escaping, and his son is the one that gets girls to go where they want them to. The other one, 2 of them are escape convicts. They're both brothers. One's the leader, and his son's the one that, yeah. Next movie is the Mortuary Collection. And this is another anthology, and there's this girl that wants something, and she goes to the mortuary to get it, but she pretends to want the job, and he tell the guy that's the mortuarian tells her a bunch of stories and everything, and it's an anthology, obviously. Now, just like The Last House on the Left, these two are the original and the remake, and that is The Omen. And it's a story about these two people, and the wife has a baby and it dies, and the husband does a closed adoption that's secret to even her, and once the kid gets so old, he starts having eerie things, and the remake isn't as good, but it is worth a watch. It's not the worst thing in the world. The next one I'm going to talk about is The Others, and it is a story about two families living in the same house. One's ghosts, one's real people, and they are intruding on each other and everything, and you really don't know which one is the ghost and which one isn't. Next one I'm going to talk about is The People Under the Stairs. There's these two people, it's a boy and a man, that want to go into this house because they think it's got lots of stuff in it because it's got a security gate around it and it's hard to break into. They think they may have lots of loot, and when it is revealed what's inside, it's a horrific sight. There's a girl and these two people that have these guys in the basement, and it's horrible and everything, and the boy feels bad for him. The uncle, the guy's is the boy's uncle, the old man. He gets out, but the kid is so spoiled. He stays and tries to help and get her out, and she wants him to help get the other people out, the ones in the basement out, and he tries his best and everything, but they try to kill him, the mom and dad. The next one I'm going to talk about is Phantom of the Opera from 1925. And this is black and white, and it is also silent film, and it's the original one, and it's by far the scariest version. It's the only one I like, except for the newest one that's the musical. Now, I'm sure people know what Phantom of the Opera is, but it's a ghost ghoulie type thing that has a girl that he has sing for him in an opera house. If you don't know what the storyline is of it. The next one I'm going to talk about is John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982. It starts out with a dog that everybody's trying to catch and kill and everything, and well, you probably think it's horrible, but it's infected with something, and they're in the middle of nowhere, and it's winter time, and they people start getting infected and everything, and they're trying to figure out what the thing is, because it can infect anyone and you don't know. You may not even know if you're infected by the thing, because next one I'm going to talk about is the Toxic Avenger. There's this guy that is he does a lot of cleaning up and stuff like that, and he is the janitor, and people are mean to him, and he gets toxic slug on him, and he becomes the Toxic Avenger, and he starts defending and everything, and he's protesting. Next one I'm going to talk about is the Veil. There's this guy that goes snooping around where he shouldn't, and he reveals a veil between the worlds, and things start coming through once he opens that veil, and torturing people and everything. Next one is The Wretched. This is a folk tale, and it is about a Wendigo / witch that preys on women, and it takes over the body of one of the people in the woods. And the way it takes over people is if you've got tragedy in your life, it'll take over you. And she lost her husband and her son, and that's how it takes over her. And she starts becoming this Wendigo-like creature. Next one I'm going to talk about is a John Carpenter movie, and it's called They Live, and they're kind of these mutant type things that look kind of like skeletons when you put on these special glasses, and only certain people can see them in the glasses, but they're kind of like alien type creatures and everything. And they're trying to take over the world, and it's kind of a twist on the Body Snatchers. They take over people's bodies and infect everyone and all that. Next one I'm going to talk about is Stephen King's Thinner, not Thinners, Thinner. There's this guy that is driving down the road with his wife, and she's trying to get him off, and he runs over this gypsy person and kills her, and so he gets a curse on him, and he goes around and gets this lawyer and some thugs, and they start messing with people, and till the point where the one that put the hex on them said, "Enough's enough. If you want this to stop, all you gotta do is this." He starts getting thinner, and he's wasting away. That's why he wants it. Next movie I'm going to talk about is Tremors. there's this town called, never mind, forget the name of the town. But there's these people that live in this remote town in Nevada, and these creatures start attacking, and they're underground, and they're huge and everything, and they've got to find a way to defeat them, because they like to eat creatures, humans and animals alike. And anytime you make noise, they will come after you. Next one I'm going to talk about is When a Stranger Calls from 1979. This girl goes to this house, and she's supposed to be watching these kids, and she's on the phone and everything, and talking to her friend, and she tells them to give this guy her phone number there, and she waits for him to call. He never does, by the way. But this weirdo keeps calling her and said, "Have you checked the children?" And her friend finally tells her, "You should call the police," and they finally do, and they tell her that she's in the house with the killer, because the calls are coming from inside the house. This is halfway through. This isn't nothing new. And then she goes and checks on the children, and she screams, and then she's got to plot to get out of the house and everything. There's a lot more movies here, but these are the ones I've seen that I like that's on here, and except for the holiday ones. Well, I hope you like it, and this is the first video of NAN-O-WEEN. Remember, be the person you're meant to be, and remember, Happy Halloween! And this is NAN-O-WEEN, this is NAN-O-WEEN.